When was a fuck it, I'll do it myself moment for you?
Every day at work. It's something close to a motto. Literally any group project in school. Part-timer mopped the freezer with water. At the start of the pandemic, I had a cyst growing in my hand. It was so painful I couldn't lower my hand below my chest or it would be agony. However, because I'm extremely vulnerable, I wasn't able to go to the hospital as the local was on lockdown and completely overflowing with COVID cases. I was just given antibiotics that did nothing. So one night I'd finally had enough. I'd already had 6 removed in the last year, so knew what the deal was. I woke up at 2 a.m. in unspeakable pain. Said fuck it, and dug the thing out myself with some sterilized tweezers, a surgical knife and a shitload of kitchen towels to mop up the blood. Did it while watching WrestleMania cause it was the only thing on at 2 a.m. The next day I called my doctor cause I now had a perfectly circular hole in my hand, but it wasn't deep enough for stitches. Just advised I patch myself up with some plasters, and he sent some more specific antibiotics to my house. He mentioned the cut looked pretty well done and the cyst was entirely removed. So I thought that was pretty cool. 3/10. Just for being able to say I operated on myself and didn't cause any further complications. Finally started driving when people started smoking fentanyl on the trains and buses. Every time I asked my ex to do something while I was at work, like the dishes or taking out the garbage, I'd still have to do them when I got home after 12 hours. If no one wants to fuck me, I'll do it myself. Cutting my own hair during peak COVID. I picked an easy cut and it came out pretty good. I was working tech support for a company, making $12 an hour, doing internal pre-alpha testing on a new product. I figured out the root cause for the biggest problem keeping the product from working properly, which at the time was threatening the launch of the product. I told the engineer responsible. He ignored me. Later, at an all-hands meeting when the problem was being discussed, I brought up my findings again in the presence of all involved, including management. The engineer said, "Go get an engineering degree and then tell me how to do my job." Coincidentally, that day happened to be the last day of open enrollment for the next semester at my local university. I quit my job, took out the student loans, and went to school full-time from there. Now I've got an electrical engineering degree and a 6-figure salary doing factory automation with companies like Tesla on my resume. I never did take the time to go back and tell that guy how to do his job. Senior year of college. I was apparently the only one capable of actually doing anything hardware related for our senior design project. Told one of the group to do a basic ass thing, and he called me saying the whole system was broken. After that, I said fuck it, took everything home and did all of the build work while the other mainly did the write-ups. When I was a kid I was told that I wouldn't make the high school varsity team. I did. I was told that my baseball life would end there. It didn't. Then as a freshman college, I was told that this was the end of the baseball line. It wasn't. I know some people get discouraged by negativity, but sometimes it builds such a big chip on your shoulder that you have no other option but to carry the burden and wear it like a badge of honor. It's not super crazy, but at 25 years old, I had been saving for a car for years. I was living with my folks and my dad had told me if I save up $2,000 he would help me get a car. I saved it easily, but every time I asked to go look for a car Dad would tell me I needed to prove I could hang on to that money. Which of course I couldn't because he was having me pay my medical bills and med costs. I mean, fair enough, I'm an adult, but I was only making $8.50 an hour at the time. Around that time my younger brother graduated from high school. My dad and uncles banded together, bought, and gave him no strings attached an old shitty van. I was livid, so I dragged my dad down to a dealership and bought my first car. Took out a loan and everything. My dad had always tried to stunt me growing up, but I was over being a kid. I was 25 for crying out loud. He was hella pissed because he didn't want me to be in debt, but nuts to that. Now I'm 31. On my second car that I bought brand new. And have great credit, all because my brother got a free car and I wanted to spite my dad. Every request my mom makes to my younger brother. He is very stubborn, also an asshole most the time. So, for me to not hear her screaming at him for the next half hour, I just do it. At work. Often. Hold on. That doesn't look right. But when I try to report it, no one seems to care. I know it's not right. So I follow it up myself by doing stuff that is technically not really in scope for me. Turns out that, surprise, surprise, it's super not right, and nothing would have been done had I not persisted. Just about every day at work. I am the senior operator and work with several people that don't listen when asked to do things. They just sit on their ass and play on their phone. So I just go take care of it. When asked by the boss why I'm doing it instead of sending my helper, I just say they were too busy watching videos. And now I'm an asshole for not making them do their job. I don't get paid to be a fucking babysitter. Isn't this just known as work for most people? I had a group project in college where my group completely flaked. Skipped meetings. Missed deadlines. Never delivered. The day we were meeting to combine all our parts into a single report, no one showed. Didn't even email their parts. Turns out, they all planned on writing their parts that day. The day before it's due. They had nothing. And now weren't even going to try. So, fuck it. Did it all myself. Took all their names off it. Added our email chain as an appendix. It wasn't until I was presenting it in front of the class solo that they realized what happened. It's gonna be small and I don't know if it fits, but teacher had hot chocolate for the students, which she would tell people that she lets everyone have. Some bad thing is that in reality she only actually let her favorite students have any and would actively say no to a select few kids it was clear she didn't like. I was one of those favorites, but would actively choose not to have any. One day a kid asked if they could have some and she decided to yell at the kid, "Bring some yourself." Quote. So I, like the smartass I am, decided, if she won't share then I will, and the next day I brought some pouches of hot cocoa and shared with the kids I knew she didn't like. Hot cocoa was not given to anyone after this event. This happens a lot at work. I work at FedEx, so we move a lot of boxes. I don't load trailers anymore since I got a promotion, but I move special boxes around the building. The boxes we move could be anything from a corrosive material to a bed frame to a carpet. We have 5 areas we move those boxes to. There was one area that no one was covering because of the amount of flow going there. So I looked at everyone around me not covering it, disappointed in them for not doing their jobs. We had the people, but the guy originally covering it left because it was too hard that day. And I stepped up and took care of it. I'm still the only person covering it, seeing as how every time I leave it everyone tries to leave it again. P.S. No, I don't know where your packages are. I lose mine there too.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.